Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here. Welcome to another Etheria restart video. And yes, how is your X2 event going on? Mine's going great. I've just posted the Doki Doki one-shot team with Real. Hopefully you had a chance to see that. But today, the video is going to be about, of course, the tier list. It has been updated by our wonderful friends over on Pride. And let's take a look at what has changed. Some new faces, of course, have been here as well. And you can see that we've got the new characters in Nahor as well as FuQiu. All right, these characters are being added as the new releases, and they're actually pretty decent. But I'm gonna go over some of the tier 0 characters very shortly, and then we can go through the changelog and see what has essentially been updated. Now, in terms of DPS, yes, that's right. Love to see Didding here. Still not nerfed. Absolutely insane. Pretty much every single content PvE that has a boss built in, you can Didding, all right, most of the time, in the same fashion as Sonya, Shadow Sonya. Hey, if the boss is not immune to dot, it's going down, all right. But however, I do want to draw your attention to Yeli, because I personally think Yeli is a completely different beast. Does not have the drawback of course, Shadow Sonya relying on dots, and I would say compared to Didding, Yeli is actually, in my opinion, a bit stronger, a lot more generic in terms of, being able to just sometimes RNG your way out of an insane encounter by just keep firing. And in terms of PvP, of course, Messiah is still absolute king with invulnerability, and that defense ignore AoE damage with Revelation kills pretty much everything. So these four, arguably, of course, tier 0. With Yeli, I think pretty high up there. Of course, in the 0.5s, we got Rosa as well as Shada and the rest of the crew. Now, in terms of debuffs, the two that have shined the most, yes, Claws for sure, and Holden. Holden actually a super strong PvP character as well, but Claws putting a lot of work, defense down, speed down, and hack in progress as well, just to make the boss even weaker. So, absolutely deserved. And then Viper seeing a lot of plays in Aurora, in some of the other content PvE boss fights, because yeah, speed down, attack down is pretty good at making the boss pretty weak. Now, in terms of Heinrich, honestly, I only see him much in Aurora at the moment. All the rest, he's not as good as I originally thought he would be. That is unfortunate. Now, in terms of control, we've got the Marvel, Mio, mostly for PvP, and of course, the one and only Vice. Vice lets you cheat through so many of the mechanics sometimes, allowing you to taunt bosses and they can't summon. And of course, because he's light faction as well, you'll be able to just abuse him in pretty much every single content. So he's absolutely fantastic. Now, support tier 0 Lily, no questions asked. I think she's the one true tier 0 character across every single content, right? Because she essentially copies your main damage dealer, it makes it stronger, and the shell resets with the ult as well from Lily, which absolutely is insane. So Lily speed buff is also very strong, so deserved of tier 0 status. And Freya sitting at tier 0.5, not bad. We've seen her in a lot of the PvP with of course the Revelation cheese. I'm sure that will be getting nerfed in the next RTA season, but so far tier 0.5 still used in plenty of content. Now, tier 0 in terms of sustain, tier 0 Ling Lo free SSR is absolutely a menace. She heals a lot, and of course with the correct shell, for example, a super fast Jackal, right, with the Cure set, or even the Supernova, can make Linglo essentially keep your entire team alive. So she's going to be super strong. And in terms of Valerian, honestly, super surprised that she is still this good this late into the game, right? We're about a month and a half into the game, and Valerian, as the SR first top-up purchase bonus, is still putting so much work. Absolutely love the amount of work she's put in. And yeah, honestly, super nice. Super nice. And now, drawing your attention to some of the other sustains that are not very talked about, Mia as well as Sonya, both very good in their own niche. Sonya especially for some of the PvP stuff, and also clearing any sync, you are going to use Sonya for the revive. It's truly important that sometimes you just cannot withstand the damage from some of these stages, and Sonya will give you a second chance. Mia, we do see her falling off kind of a bit, but yeah, still a very decent unit. Now, FuQiu, the one new character people have been saying is a different version of a Valerian basically, and as the SSR, she did receive an emergency bug fix because the passive was triggering off of every single hit from the enemy, right? So multi-hitters, for example, enemy using Revelation, Revelation with multi-hitters will trigger multiple FuQiu passives, which means that, yeah, this was the counter to Revelation, but they did patch it, unfortunately, so it does not trigger multiple times, and that's why she is not going to be tier 0. Now, in terms of the build, we can see that in PvE, she is really universal. You can use her in a lot of the different teams. In Junction, actually, with Valerian, because people thought, hey, this is a replacement to Valerian, but you can use both of them at the same time. One for buffing, one for providing speed and turn boosting gauge. And in terms of being able to help the tank team, that's not bad in PvP as well. So does need some investments in terms of PvP compared to PvE, but hey, I think we'll see a lot of her newly built use cases in the future. And now Nahor is unfortunately not going to be that insane. More of a side grade. Now it's nice to have the defense down into a crowd control. That is pretty decent for the likes of Doki Doki, right? Because the crowd control removes the damage reduction, the defense down, of course, lets your main DPS AoE DPS one shot. But yeah, with that, it's just not enough to be a more applicable general character, like we said, because unfortunately you just need a bit more than being someone who excels at Doki Doki, especially if there are upgrades to you, right? For example, Mio is just better in this regard, allowing you to bypass a lot of the speed requirements needed. So yeah, this is a side grade to, for example, using Klaus, using Kazuo in Doki Doki, but everywhere else we're gonna use him. That's why it's really unfortunate that it is the case, but maybe hopefully we'll see him in some other content. But yeah, you can see tier 0.5 in Doki Doki, but everyone else tier 1 and below, so we're not gonna see much from him. So FuQiu, if you are going to go for the one, that is the character to pull. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much once again for watching this video. And don't forget, guys, if you're looking for Infernal full auto clears for some of the free-to-play friendly teams and comps, you can check out this document. The links will be in the comments, so you can copy and paste the stats as well. And once again, it's TimaeuSS here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye now.